Hey everyone, welcome. We're about to jump into something that, let's be honest, can look super intimidating at first. Automotive wiring diagrams. But my goal here is to change all that. We're going to turn that crazy web of lines into something you can actually read, something that makes sense. So, have you ever popped open a service manual, looked at a wiring diagram, and just your brain shuts down? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. It can look like a total maze, but I promise you, by the time we're done here, you'll start seeing it as a clear roadmap. So think of this as your official decoder ring. We're going to break down all the symbols, the structure, the whole shebang in a way that's actually practical. The idea is to get you from being confused to feeling confident, so you can start tracking down those electrical gremlins like a real pro. All right, so first things first, before you can read the map, you got to learn the language, right? So we're going to start with the absolute basics, the anatomy of a circuit. Think of these as the fundamental building blocks. Once you get these, everything else starts to click into place. Okay, so what is a circuit? The most important thing to remember is that it's a loop, a complete circle. For anything to work, your headlights, the radio, a fuel pump, whatever, that electricity needs a full, unbroken path to travel. If there's a break anywhere in that loop, nope, game over, the component just won't work. Simple as that. And you know what? Pretty much every single circuit you'll ever see is built from the same 5 essential parts. You've got your power source, the wires, a load device, a control device, and then a ground connection to finish that loop. Let's dig into what each of those actually is. First up, the heart of the system, the power source. And yeah, 99% of the time, that's going to be the car's battery. It's what's supplying that 12-volt DC power. Now, on a diagram, its symbol is pretty simple, just a couple of parallel lines. Remember, the long line is always positive. That's where the electricity starts its trip, and the short line is negative. Okay, next up, we have the wires. These are basically the highways for the electricity, right? On a diagram, they're just lines connecting everything together. But here's a pro tip. The diagrams almost always give you codes for the wire color and sometimes even the size. And trust me, that is a huge help when you're under the hood trying to find that one specific wire. All right, part 3, the load. And this is the whole point of the circuit. The load is whatever component is using the electricity to do work. We're talking about a headlight bulb lighting up, a motor spinning, a horn making noise. And just know, every different type of load is going to have its own special little symbol on the diagram. Now, you can't just have power flowing all the time, right? You need an on-off switch, and that's exactly what the control device does. This could be a simple toggle switch you press, or it might be a relay, which is basically just a switch that's turned on by electricity, or it could even be the car's computer. But no matter what it is, its one job is to open or close that circuit when it's told to. And last but absolutely not least, and I can't stress this enough, is the ground connection. This is the return trip for the electricity. It's how it gets back to the battery to complete that all-important loop. In cars, this is usually just a wire bolted to the metal frame of the vehicle. And let me tell you, a bad ground connection is probably one of the top causes of weird electrical problems you'll ever run into. Okay, so we've got our 5 building blocks down. We know the parts. Now let's put it all together. I'm going to show you a simple, foolproof 5-step method that you can use to read literally any circuit diagram you come across. This right here, this is the secret sauce. Seriously, it doesn't matter how complicated a diagram looks. You just follow these 5 steps in this order every single time. 1. Find the power source, the battery or the fuse box. 2. Identify the circuit's protection, like the fuse. 3. Locate the control, the switch or relay. 4. Pinpoint the load, what's actually being powered. And 5. Trace that final path to ground. It's a simple process that just plain works. All right, theory is one thing, but let's get practical. Let's see how this 5-step method actually works in the real world. We're going to use it to trace a circuit that every single car has, the headlights. So check this out. This is our method in action. Just follow the flow of electricity. It starts at the battery, that's step 1, our power source. Then it flows through the fuse, step 2, protection. From there, it goes to the headlight switch and then a relay, which are our controls, that's step 3. This then sends power to the headlight bulb itself, which is the load, step 4. And finally, the electricity completes its journey by returning through the ground connection, step 5. See, every circuit just tells a story, and now you know how to read it. So you might be thinking, okay, cool, I can read a map. So what? Well, here's the so what. It's everything. Because being able to read the diagram is the first critical step to actually fixing the car.
This is the skill that takes you from just guessing what's wrong to being a true professional who can diagnose the problem. Think about it. Once you know the correct path that electricity is supposed to take, you can play detective and figure out exactly where things went wrong. Is there an open circuit, like a broken wire stopping the flow? Or maybe a short circuit, where the power is taking a shortcut straight to ground, which is what usually pops a fuse? Or hey, could it be something as simple as a poor ground? The diagram is what tells you exactly where to look and where to test.
And that really brings us to the main point of all of this. For any modern automotive technician, understanding these diagrams isn't just a nice-to-have skill. It's absolutely essential. It's what separates fumbling around and guessing from precise, efficient diagnosis. It saves you time, it saves the customer money, and honestly, it saves you a ton of frustration. It really is the bedrock of all electrical work. So, that crazy maze of wires, it doesn't seem so scary anymore, does it? You've got the key now. You know the 5 essential parts, and you've got the 5-step method to trace literally any circuit. So the only real question left is, what circuit are you going to go decode first?